Well, the Astros are days away from the trade deadline. And are they going to bring all the Infinity Stones together and rule Major League Baseball like they haven't done since 2022? We're going to talk about it with a special guest right now.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros. We hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talk Astros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Thank you for making us part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go ahead and become an everydayer. Go ahead and hit that little red button down there that says subscribe. And as always, I'm being joined by this guy to the left, Mr. Infinity Stone himself, Brett Chancey.
Hey, what's up, man? You can find me at h-vac on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Y'all know where to find me at Astros411 on Facebook and on X, and at Back to the Bullpen now on YouTube and on X and Instagram. Look, I'm always positive, always Astros. You know what I'm positive about? I'm positive I love the fact that there's this big, bald, beautiful man below me right here, a legend in his own mind and in the making. Brandon, the baseball lawyer. Brandon, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on X at bballlawyer.com.
All right, so we wanted to have a little kind of roundtable. We know the trade deadline is 5 days away. I don't know why everybody keeps on saying it's July 31st. It's July 31st. It's actually July 30th this year. I'm getting kind of sick of hearing on the local radio everybody saying July 31st is when it's the trade deadline is. But it's been moved up. The commissioner has the decision on when the trade deadline is, and it's a day earlier this year. I want to say last year it was August 1st. If I remember correctly. So it's been kind of moving around. I think they're finding the best position for it. But here we are, 5 days before the trade deadline. The Astros have a glaring need, and it's at starting pitching. They basically have Jake Bloss. He probably has a bright future with the Houston Astros, but he is not ready yet. He can barely, he has not thrown more than 82 pitches in the big leagues. And the Astros know that they can't go that far. But guys, did y'all know that the Astros are only the second team in history to make up such a big gap in between first and second place since the Miracle Braves did it?
Yeah, I think they're one of three teams to do it, you know, in some form or fashion. But hey, another record. Did you know they're the only other winning team in Oakland Coliseum other than the Oakland A's? Only the A's and the Astros have a winning record at the Coliseum. Isn't that crazy?
And it will be forever.
That is it. Yeah, because it's closing down, or I don't know if it's closing down, but they're not. They're moving to Sacramento, and they're going to play with a nine. Oh, they are. They're going to.
Oh, they're going to. If they don't blow it up, Brandon, look, it's not the Dash. It's not the Astrodome, right, Brandon? I mean, they haven't blown that thing up, but surely they're going to blow the Coliseum up. No offense.
Yeah, I mean Mount Davis, man, that's an eyesore in of itself. So it should go.
Before we get started on today's show, the Diamondbacks got AJ Polk from the Marlins. That was just broken. So they got him from a minor league reliever, I believe.
Who is this? Say that again.
AJ Polk. Puck,
Polk.
sorry.
Okay. Oh, Puck. Puke. I look at his name and I say Puke. Yeah, AJ Puck. Okay. So
former first rounder out of Florida.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
So that was the first official trade of the trade deadline season. I know there's been some other trades, but that's the first big trade, like right before the trade deadline. So there's probably going to be a lot more over the next couple of days. Brandon, where do you see the Astros? What do you see their needs are before we start talking about the latest rumors we've seen?
Well, they've got the number one need that everybody knows about, starting pitcher, and then I still think they've got a little bit lower of a need, but I still think it's a need at first base. So I think that's where they should be focusing on. That's probably what we should talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
So there's been a whole bunch of names that have been kind of thrown about by random people. I know that John Heyman, which is Brett's favorite homie, but he is somebody that has been preaching for Isaac Paredes to come over here, and he would be a perfect fit to fill in at first base this year. And then he made it sound like when Alex Bregman leaves, he can go and switch over to third base next year. But he is a pull hitter that would look perfect at Minute Park, because I saw a tweet that said that if he was traded to the Orioles, he was probably going to hit 6 home runs. But if he's traded to the Astros in a full season, he becomes an all-star and hits like 27 to 30 home runs. So because Minute Park is built for players like him and somebody that's pretty good, Mr. Jose Altuve.
Yeah, exactly. Look, here's the thing I love about this part of the season is it's like throwing spaghetti on the wall. You're just trying to see what sticks. We know that the Astros have a clear roadblock and they don't have a ton of assets to go with. But if we're just going to talk about what's going on, and this is a trade rumor show, these two guys right here, look at them. Ryan Mountcastle and Ty France. They are both, Ty France is available. Ryan Mountcastle, it has been made known by the Orioles that him and Cedric Mullins are available for trade. But look at the WAR numbers on Ty France compared to Ryan Mountcastle. And it is less home runs, but he's got more hits. He's played in more games. He's got about the same average. He's got a higher on-base percentage. I'm not saying the Astros can get one of those guys, but I'm just saying those are names that are being bantered about and talked about. To me, Ty France is very realistic, but you have to, I think, you have to go through the waiver order and all that stuff. Those would be some interesting names to add if you're looking to add another bat. But Brandon, with that being known, it has to be pitching, right? Pitching has to be your top priority.
It has to be. I mean, that's your number one priority. We saw it in Oakland, right? Arrighetti, fine. Jake Bloss, probably not ready yet for prime time. I agree with Eric. Someday he'll look nice and shiny in this rotation, but this is not the time for that. We got to have another arm. You don't know when Verlander's coming back. You don't know if or when Luis Garcia and McCullers, I guess we could still throw his name out there, when they're coming back. So, yeah, starting pitching. Right now, you don't really have 5 major league starting pitchers on your roster. No. Yeah, it's a problem. You got to get somebody to fill that, and we can talk about those names. I do want to hit on a little bit about the Ty France. I mean, you saw him, and he's about 9th in the worst offense in the league. There's a reason why they cut him. For a team that is dying for offense, for them to cut Ty France, he, that bat speed, he got pinch hit for, and he's batting 9th in that lineup. I'm not sure that he's going to be an answer for you.
Right. But wouldn't you think, though, I think the only counter to that is, and I don't think he's Jose Abreu 2.0, but do you think maybe if he had a change of scenery with someone like the Astros, or do you think the Astros offense has kind of been a little too inconsistent? I mean, it's not like the Astros right now are hitting the cover off the ball. Let's just be honest. I mean, Jordan hit for a cycle, but really we looked pretty unenthusiastic in the Oakland series. So that's probably more of a problem. I think Ryan Mountcastle might be a more realistic, but the freaking Orioles, they need a frontline starter, and you're not giving up Hunter Brown. If you want a top flight name, your ace Hunter Brown is going to have to be on the trade block, and there's no way you get rid of him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is your show, so you tell me when you want to talk about Isaac Paredes and Yandy Diaz. But
yeah, I was just about to ask you, what do you think it would take to get Isaac Paredes? What are you going to have to trade?
Look, I think he's the perfect fit for the Astros. The problem is he's only 25 years old. He's still got 3.5 years of control. Why would they give him up? And if they do you really have something to get that much? We're talking about a 31 home run hitting guy. He's perfect for the Astros. Y'all are absolutely right. I just don't know if Tampa Bay is ready to depart with that. I think Yandy Diaz is the perfect fit, but we don't know where he is. He's on the restricted list for personal issues. I don't think anybody knows what's going on. He's still got, the rest of this year and one more year. He's 32. He's last year's batting champ. He's been on base percentage of over 400 for 3 of the last 4 years. That's the guy you want, but he's only $8 million a year. Wouldn't cost you that much, but where is he mentally? What's going on with his personal issues? You don't know that. So there are problems with both of the Tampa Bay options.
Yeah, definitely. With Isak, I like everything about him. I think him and Taillon, Jameson Taillon would be, I think, a phenomenal ad. It's just amazing that I wonder if you can get a Zach Eflin. Now, I don't know if y'all heard the news about Garrett Crochet. Did you hear what he said about the contract?
I don't know if it's him saying it, but I think it's his agent saying that.
Well,
basically,
if it's his agent say it, it's him saying it. And basically, they're saying that if I don't get an extension, I'm not going to pitch in the playoffs for the team I go to. I'm like, that's kind of precocious, dude. You know what my solution is? Hey, guys, just keep him in Chicago.
Well, you know who his agent is? It's the same agent that represented Josh Hader. So this is the most that he's pitched in his career, and so what he's worried about is he doesn't want to be moved back to the bullpen because he thinks that's going to probably hurt his arm, and so he wants to continue starting. And then if he's going to go ahead and pitch in October, which will probably risk injuring himself, he wants to have that money guaranteed just in case he does. He wants to pitch for a contender, but if let's say he pitches into the World Series with whatever team he's with, and he throws his arm out, he has to have Tommy John or something. He wants to make sure he has that guaranteed money because this year he's making $800,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about money since you're throwing that out there. So you mentioned Eflin, you mentioned Taillon. Taillon's 32 years old. We all know he's a Woodlands guy, Houston native. He's got 2.5 more years of control, but $22 million a year. So it might not take as much to get him though, because you're going to be taking back a lot of that contract. So that might be a good match for the Astros if you're going to be taking back a lot of that money. Eflin, he's got 1.5 years of control left, about 13.3 a year. But we're talking about a guy who was 6th in the Cy Young last year, but this year, especially the last month, has really tailed off. So, how much are you getting, and how much do you want to give up? He's probably going to be one of the guys that you're going to have to compete with other teams for. Eric Fedde, I think that'd be a steal. But does Chicago really want to push Eric Fedde? I think they do. They need to, because they just need to get as much young talent as they can in there. We're talking about Eric Fedde, a 31-year-old guy, but the contract is great. He signed for 2 years at $15 million. So you're only going to be taking on a total of $10 million for this year and next year. So Fedde would be great, but again, I think he's going to cost you a lot. And so the only other name that we haven't mentioned really, which I think would be a good fit, is Kikuchi. He's 33. He'd only be a rental. You're only bringing on about $4.5-5 million for the rest of the year. And he's only guy out of those 4 that actually brings strikeouts with you. So those are the 4 names, Fedde, Eflin, Kikuchi, Taillon, that I see as legitimate possibilities. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we're going to have to continue this conversation in a second, but we're going to go and answer that. Also, can the Astros actually trade Montero to kind of get somebody else to eat that contract? We'll talk about this next.
This episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.com is a great app and a great site for you to use. With summer travel heating up, especially travel for baseball games, it's time to explore those cities that you secretly wanted to learn more about. Yes, we're talking about your rival cities with hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more. On Booking.com, you might find your perfect stay, even in your rival city, LA, Boston, New York, Seattle, Tampa, Milwaukee. Who is not a Arizona? Phoenix? Are they Are they rivals? No, not really. But hey, from hotels that look over stadiums to family-friendly resorts, or Coors Field, that sounds like a cool place to go, has so many choices across the U.S. for your summer travel this baseball season. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rivals. Booking.com, go to the site today. Booking.yeah. And stop by SupplyHouse.com. I'm telling you, if you are a skilled tradesman and you are in the HVAC, electrical, or plumbing field, this is a site for you. It's easy to use. It's got thousands, I mean hundreds of thousands of parts from over 400 different name brands. And what they do is they ship to you fast. It's easy from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, you get expert help from an industry-leading service of the friendliest folks in the business, and you get to talk to a real person every single time. Pros of Skills Trade can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from the free membership at SupplyHouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from everywhere, just a few clicks away at SupplyHouse.com.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and hit that little red button down there that says subscribe. Make us first listen, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, check us out. And once again, Brandon, thank you for joining us. Before the break, you asked us about what we think about the pitching options. And Brett, were you going to answer before I do? You have something?
I was just going to say, Eric Fedde, I've been talking about him for a while now. I just wonder about his projectability, but the problem with letting that scare you away is the deal that you're getting. I think it's a low risk, high reward type of deal. And I think that's what you are touching on. We had talked about Luis Severino, but dude, the way the Mets are playing, they just swept the Yankees. Yeah. There's no way. The Mets are playing some of the best baseball in all the league, just like the Astros. So the Mets might find them. It's funny. The Mets might go further in the playoffs than the Yankees this year, which is something that I don't think the Yankees thought they saw coming. But yeah, I've been really high. And Eric, I want to explore this thing. Like we've talked about, how do we offload this contract of Rafael Montero? Because that's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I think the White Sox have made it known that they're not going to offer a discount on Fedde just because he's not crocheting. So they're not gonna just be like, well, he's not our big ace, so we're gonna just go ahead and sell him for peanuts. So you're still going to have to give up a good portion, a good amount of prospects to get them done, depending on what what type of prospects you're willing to give up. So, but I've in that Chandler Rome article today, they mentioned that the Astros with people familiar with sources or the conversations have said that the Astros are trying to find a taker for Rafael Montero because we had Jim Crane and whoever the assistant GMs were at the time sign him to that 3-year, $18 million a year deal. I remember at the time being like, that's a little bit high, and everybody was excited about him coming back at the time, but now this is biting the Astros in the butt. And so let's say they go out and get a Taillon. Yes, it's going to be a prorated $18 million for this year, but you're only about $2.2 million underneath the second luxury tax threshold this year. So what the Astros could be potentially looking at doing is saying, hey, we'll take a reliever from your team, a young, cheap reliever. We'll go ahead and give you a prospect and Rafael Montero if you go ahead and take on that salary. So it could be a situation like that, or they can work it in with some type of deal. Will it happen? Who knows? He has a negative trade value. This is probably going to go down as one of the worst free agent deals in Astros history. But we'll have to see. Huh?
Except Jose, I think Jose Abreu is a close first.
Yes. I forget about him. Out of sight, out of mind, I guess. But
Eric, I understand where you're going with that, because when he was signed, and Brandon, it was like, at the time, coming off the World Series high, it was like, oh, you know what? this dude earned that. And then when you looked at the list of payroll across the league and saw that he was the 5th highest relief pitcher, I was like, oh, okay, man, that's a little bit of an overpay. Oops.
Yeah, I don't think it's 18 million a year though.
No, whatever it was. I think I'm thinking of Taillon's salary.
No, he's making 11. It was a 3-year, $33 million deal.
Still an overpay, but yeah, still an overpay, but not. Man, you that would, if you would signed him for 3 years, 18 million a year, that would have been the worst contract of all time.
All right,
but yeah, I think you're right. I think you have to. I think you have to find a way to work it in. In a kind of a Taillon type of deal, because you are going to be bringing back over, almost $50 million in the Taillon deal. You're going to have to give up better prospects though if you do that. Right. But yeah, that's the way you're going to be able to offload some of that contract.
It's 11.5, per year.
Yeah. Taillon's the expensive one. He's the expensive one. You're bringing back $50 million, $22 million a year for him because you got him for 2.5 years at $22 million a year. So that's the expensive one. I don't even know if the Cubs really want to get rid of him. If they do, you might be able to slide Montero into that deal. But you're giving up better prospects.
Just what the Astros did last year with Justin Verlander. The Astros did not want to give up Gilbert, and I can't think of the other guy on top of my head, but Clifford. So they did so because the Mets were going to take on a good chunk of the salary, which is not going to really help them for next year if Verlander innings limit does not vest this year. But it was a big reason why the Astros went ahead and said, you know what, let's go and give up our number 1 and number 2 prospects just to get Justin Verlander come back and to get some of this money eaten off this contract. So I know that is a big issue, and I think that the Cubs would take on some Italians' salary. And I think if you give them right now prospects, I think they might take on Montero.
So let me ask you guys this, because this totally falls into our conversation about free agents. Melton gets moved up to AAA. DeCenzo gets moved up. That's
exactly where I was thinking too when we're all
DeCenzo hits a home run his first at bat. Pedro Leon is hitting out of his mind. Now, some people think that maybe Melton could have spent a little bit more time in AA, but somebody's moving somewhere. Somebody's going somewhere. There's an outfielder either from AAA or from the big ball club that is on the trading block as we speak. I mean, they are in the negotiation room, and they've got Leon, they've got Melton, they've got DeCenzo, they got Myers, they got McCormick, they got all these outfielders. And they're like, okay, which one do you want? And I just saw, and I'm not going to say who it was, I just saw a gross overpay of a trade proposal made for Paredes. Someone said that they would give up Melton, they would give up Baez, they would give up Bryce, Bloss, and Chaz for Paredes. I don't think Paredes is worth that much. I think that's a gross overpay. I think it takes 1 or 2 of those guys. Look, Brandon, Jake Bloss, if someone wants him, I don't think it hurts you to trade him, especially if you're getting a pitcher that's going to slot into your 3, 4, or 5 spot. And maybe someone like a Jameson slots into your 3 area. I think taking away a Bloss, a Leon, and I don't know, maybe you have to throw in a Melton to get a Jameson, Taillon, or someone like that. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if you have to give up that much to get Taillon again because of the money.
True.
The Isaac Paredes is the one that's going to cost you a lot.
Okay.
Because he's got 3.5 years. He's still arbitrational eligible.
Okay.
He's got 3.5 years. He's only 25 years old. So and he's an all-star. He's a guy that's already proven. He's a proven all-star, hit 31 home runs last year. He is a perfect fit for the Astros. And
So do you think it would take all those guys, or do you think it would take because that seems like, dude,
it's going to take a big package.
It's going to take a big package. Does it take all of those guys? No, I don't think it takes all of those guys. It's going to take 4 legit prospects.
Okay.
All right. So if you're looking at untouchables, I'm not saying AJ Blueball is a untouchable, but I think the Astros are going to do what it takes to hold on to him because he's the closest to being ready. And I think that after the trade deadline, if the Astros are still desperate for a pitcher, they may call him up at some point. I think Bryce Matthews is the future at either most likely at third base or something. So I think they're going to try as best as they can. Melton, I would like to say, is untouchable, but I think that if you're going to get anybody of any value, I think Melton's going to be one of the guys that's going to be traded.
I would just hate to, I mean, after Gilbert and Clifford and then Melton, it's just like, come on, man. Like we talk about these things, and then you talk about the replacement for Bregman. I haven't read the full article. I have to go back and read the full article, but Chandler Rome wrote an article, and it's titled Astros Alex Bregman has been a guiding voice for a pitching core short on experience. And I immediately thought, well, he's not going anywhere.
So before we get too far off, and this goes right in along, it plays along with it, but I want to go back to a little bit. So why did Melton and DeZenzo get moved up? It's two reasons, right? We just had a draft, so those people got to get put somewhere. Right. Everybody else has got to move up. So that's the first reason. Second reason, you got to see what they can do at the higher level. If Bregman is gone, DeZenzo is going to be one of your first options to take that. He's going to be competing next spring training to take third base. He and Will Wagner are your two options at third. I'm not sure that they believe that Will Wagner can play third defensively.
Right.
They keep talking about him at first, which is a shame because it seems like a perfect fit. You just slide him in to play third base for Breggs, but apparently he can't play third base defensively. So, but that's the reason. You know, you got to have those guys ready. You got to see what they can do in AAA. You know, I don't think hey, Eric, if you can get Isaac Paredes and you have to give up blue ball, he's the final chip, you're going to say no?
No, it just depends on what else was given, but he is I think that he's the closest to being ready because the Astros, look at the draft. They drafted a lot of pitching because college pitching at that. They know that the weak part of their organization is pitching at this point, especially at the higher levels. And so they want to try to hold on to those pieces as much as possible. But you have all these teams out there. Look at the Orioles. They have all these prospects that they could just be like making it rain prospects. And that's the point of building up a farm system. And that's what Dana Brown was brought in to do. But he can't do it when the Astros continue to win, A, which is a good thing. And B, you give up a second round pick for Josh Hader. Right. I mean, I don't disagree with the signing, but you do lose another pick. And if you go over luxury tax threshold, I don't know if you, the second luxury tax threshold, if you lose a pick or not, but I know that there are a lot of steep penalties. And so the Astros will try to do something, stay underneath that. And so that's the reason why Fedde might be a perfect fit, just somebody that's cheap and you won't have to pay a lot. So I don't know. Dana Brown is probably where we are. Like there's so much out there. There's all these teams that I don't know if they're in or out. Like the Rangers don't know if they want to buy or sell right now.
It is a muddled market. It is a muddled market at best. This is an interesting question. Do you think it's impossible to get Brent Rooker? I absolutely do. If you're not the Seattle Mariners, you can't get Brent Rooker. You know why I say the Seattle Mariners? Because they have the pitching to trade for a slugger. Okay. And Brent Rooker is the best slugger that is out there that people want. This kid can mash. He can hit the ball. I'm not saying he gives you Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, Bass Brother vibes, but the dude can rake. And the Mariners, as bad as their offense has been, they have the pitching to give up to make a trade for a slugger. So watch out for Seattle to make a move. I think the Rangers stand pat because Jung is coming back. Evan Smith is coming back. Their pitching's getting healthy. They've won 5 in a row. So as much as I joke around on this show, call them frauds and say they're out of it and say, look, this race is till the end. Until you're knocked out, you're in it. And we saw that last year. So the last game of the season, things mattered. So there's so many things we could talk about, but a couple pitching notes. Dylan Cease threw the second Padres no-hitter today. And then Robbie Ray came back from his 16-month stint for the Giants and looked really good today. And so, look, man, people are getting healthy.
What about Clayton Kershaw? You're not going to give him any love?
Oh, did Clayton Kershaw come back today too?
4 innings, 2 runs. Look good.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh no, I wasn't aware of that. Okay, excellent.
And Kodai Senga comes back tomorrow.
Wow, and Shohei Ohtani versus Yordan Alvarez. This version of Shohei Ohtani scares the crap out of me. We were able to manage Angel Shohei. Dodger Shohei, he's a bad man.
Yeah, but you know what? You could pitch around Shohei with the Angels because they didn't have anybody else. This Dodger lineup is not deep.
You got to throw at him, man.
Well, it's not deep. All you have left is Freddie Freeman right now.
Oh, well, that's true. Well, okay, that's true. Thank you. You kind of eased my mind there a little bit, Brandon.
All right. So before we end the show, let's go and do the over/under. I'll go ahead and set the kind of middle at 2 trades. Do you go over 2 or under 2 trades, or push?
That's a great spot to put the over/under, because I think it's going to be right at 2. If I have to go over/under, I will go under.
Yeah. I'm going to because at FanDuel you can make up your own bets, so I'm going to set it at 1.5.
Well, then over.
And I'm gonna say over on the 1.5.
Hey, I
can't go over on 2. I can't go over.
A lot of respect to your Infinity Gauntlet Astros hat. That is awesome.
Thank you.
I love it. And you know what? The Astros are inevitable.
We are. Yes. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
2 nerds. Just
great.
kidding.
No, wait. Does that
hold a Trekkie?
Does that hold a beer can?
It does. It comes holding a beer can.
That's beautiful.
Why else would you need one?
Oh.
All right, guys. So we should probably do another one of these as a trade deadline.
Man,
it comes a little bit closer. This was fun. So I think the Astros definitely need a pitcher, but it wouldn't hurt to get a first baseman. But John Singleton, he's looked pretty good. So we'll see. So guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Make your first listen Apple Odyssey. Brandon, once again, thank you for showing up, and we'll see you later. Go Astros.
Go Astros.